Okay, hello. We've got a big topic today. Hashtag a day off Twitch. This is a coordinated movement by several broadcasters to try to advocate for broadcasters to take a whole day off Twitch. They are upset, you see, and we're going to break down the entirety of this, and we're going to go over some of the problems, solutions, and really kind of get on these really big issues of what's going on Twitch right now and some of the problems happening. Okay, before that, of course, I just want to say a couple of intro things. First of all, thank you very much for subscribing to this channel. I see a lot of you have. We covered lots of issues in the digital media space across all kinds of different platforms and business issues and content creation. So a lot of you are supporting the channel by subscribing, and I really appreciate that. And I got a ton of comments on the last video that people watch the whole video all the way through for these like data-driven talks. So that like blew my mind. It was so crazy. So thanks for doing that. All right, let's do this. That's it. That's the CTA, okay? All right, we're over it. We're past it. Twitch streamers band together for hashtag day off Twitch to protest ongoing chat hate raids. Hate raids are these this basically what's happening is groups of bots are getting together and they are spamming particularly to marginalized groups and just really hateful stuff. Or just random stuff. It just varies, but there's a bunch. I think the main complaint going on right now is that everything from larger broadcasters like Trihex to smaller broadcasters in the 20 viewer range are getting botted. And getting botted means what'll happen is you have a chat. Your chat just gets spammed by 300 accounts that have been signed up as bots, and they usually say something horrible. Sometimes they say just like a string of numbers, but we're going to focus on what's going on and what's horrible. So that's what's happening. And as a result, people are upset that Twitch is not doing enough to defend against these bot raids. And they're organizing an online protest, which is going to be called hashtag a day off Twitch, to show Twitch that people are upset about these hate raids and they want something done about it. So certain creators like Asmongold have come out and they've said, hey, this is dumb. Nobody cares about these 20 viewer streamers that are organizing this, and most of them are going to be the ones that are participating, so this will make no difference. He says that he would actually do it in a heartbeat, quote, if other big streamers decide to take part, because he is a firm believer in the power of numbers. However, because this isn't the case, what's the point? I don't like this take, actually, just starting off on this right away. I don't think that just because we have smaller groups, like the core argument that he's saying here is like, well, no one's going to care, so why should we bother? Can be applied across the board to all kinds of things. I don't think that's quite right. And I might also be misrepresenting him because I only caught like a 20 or 30 second clip here of him basically saying like, hey, no one cares about these like smaller broadcasters, which like, while it might be true at a corporate level, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't protest. I think the bigger issue here is that I also am not an advocate of hashtag a day off Twitch, and I'm not an advocate of it because I think that the hate raid problem is extremely complex, and we're going to break down just why that is and what's going on with this and what's causing the drama. And I think that any outcome that these people would expect Twitch to produce may not actually, or may solve a problem that then creates more problems. So here we go. Let's get into it. And you've seen the notepad come out. It's time for the big hitters. It's time for the ultimate weapon of Devin Nash has been revealed. And now we go forward. So what essentially are we advocating against, right? Well, we don't like a bunch of bots coming into channels and spamming things, right? That's not good. So what can we do? Well, what can Twitch do? Well, one thing that people are advocating for, and this is something that Trihex has been saying on his Twitter, is I advocate for two-factor authentication toggle to be added. Only two-factor accounts can send messages under this toggle. So Twitch streamers would be able to switch hashtag, or I say hashtag too much this video. Sound like an influencer marketer. I am an influencer marketer. Oh, God. Okay, anyway. / two-factor 2FA activates something where instantaneously the chat moves into a form where only people with two-factor authentication can talk. That's cool. I like that. But I don't think it's meaningfully different from subchat, which already exists, that would just eliminate this immediately. So There's people that creators have suggested that like they could implement something. In reality, I think that followers and sub chat kind of already solves a lot of these problems. I'll get into that a little bit more later. So Twitch can do a couple of things. One, so how are bots signing up for the website? You can look at things like Twitch bans uncovers 7.5 million view bots. This is like 2 months ago that they did this, right? So somebody was able to register over 7 million accounts without too much difficulty. I don't even think there's a CAPTCHA. Is that how you pronounce that? CAPTCHA? Okay, whatever. The thing where it's like, pick the buses out of the school buses, that thing. There isn't even that when you're registering for an account. But one really important thing to consider on a corporate level is everything that Twitch does to make it more difficult to register an account. So let's say additional verification, CAPTCHAs. That seems like pretty simple to add. I think everybody could add one of those. Phone number or a two-factor. Anything that Twitch does to make it more difficult to register for an account also makes it more difficult to onboard new legitimate users. So what do I mean by that? Let me tell you a story. Let me go way back to a time where I sold ebooks. I was 16 years old, and at the time, there was no like Amazon or anything like that. I'm dating myself here, right? To like really sell anything. And you had to sell things on individual websites. Well, you had shopping carts. You didn't have Shopify, so you had to like set up your own shopping cart. And the number of web pages that a person had to click through. So say like page number 1 is like address and page number 2 is like payment information. If you have to click a button that says go and it takes you to the next page and then the next page, the loss of users per page was about 30%. So 3 out of every 10 users would quit and not buy your thing the more stuff they had to go through. This is one of the reasons why Amazon has one-click shopping. It's an enormously powerful tool that is probably one of the main revenue drivers of Amazon shopping, if I had to guess, based on my merchant knowledge from all these days of running product, and still to this day. The easier that you make it for a user to do something, the easier it is for them to do it. Okay, so Twitch has a real problem here that like if they make it more difficult to register for accounts, then they're simultaneously making it more difficult for legitimate users to onboard to the website and get introduced to the culture, because they'll just say, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to put my phone number in. I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to stay as a guest, or I'm not going to come back. And that's a decision. There's this kind of critical decision point where a person's deciding to register for the website that if they choose not to do it, they're gone. And then you've just lost that person as a viewer. So making account registration more difficult, outside of some very obvious stuff like CAPTCHA and that sort of thing, is not really a viable solution. Another solution is remove tags. So people are saying that the way that bots, or people are saying, I don't want to say this like I'm saying it, people are saying that the way that bots are finding these streams is via tags, particularly marginalized groups. For example, LGBT, right, or such tags, things like that. So what's going on here? So they're saying if you remove tags, well, then the bots can't find you. Well, okay. The number of people, maybe that's true for like smaller broadcasters, the 20 to 100 range, and maybe they're using tags aggressively to try to find those broadcasters. I don't know. But tags also double as a discovery for marginalized groups. That was the original reason why they were added, right? And my worry is that if we remove tags just to battle these raids, then the same people that are complaining about these raids will be the ones complaining later about underrepresented communities, right? Which is the reason in the first place that we added these tags. So I think we just go back in a circle there. So I don't think removing tags is the answer. And then again, making account creation more difficult, it just makes the end user more difficult. And plus, it doesn't solve the problem, because you can just run a dictionary hack, which is how people get a lot of bots. But I want to say bots are not solved on any platform. Okay, something like 30 to 50% of Instagram's engagement is illegitimate by our estimation. It sounds like a ridiculously huge number, but half of the numbers that you're seeing, the likes, the engagement, the interaction is false on Instagram. It's just straight up not real. It's just made by bots. And this is a problem on Twitter. It's a problem on Facebook where you have bots that are creating very sophisticated groups to push certain political agendas or whatever. It's a hard problem. I don't think that bots are ultimately solvable at a platform level, which I guess is you're beginning to see. And it's kind of the case here. That like whatever Twitch implements to try to solve this problem, they can make account creation maybe a little bit more difficult, or and such. And another idea, and this is the only idea that I really agree with that Twitch could do, is machine learning. So I think that what this would look like is even that wouldn't work, because my idea was, what if you have 80 accounts spamming the same message instantaneously in chat that have never chatted before? And then you put those people in a bucket that flagged moderators and they could ban them. The problem with that is you have those people that spam kappas and spam emotes all the time. So that would happen regardless. But maybe someone who's an engineer that's smarter than me could think of a way to recognize those bots. And some people might say, well, just recognize it by the same message being sent. Well, one, that doesn't account for emotes. And two, bots could easily get around that by putting a random string of characters in front of their message and then saying all the hateful stuff. So you see the problem? Like, this is an arms race. It's really hard to solve. So I ultimately think that this comes back down to creators. And I would argue that for the most part, creators already have the tools to deal with this. And that might trigger some people. Coming from a person who's been rated like this dozens of times. I've been rated like this so many times. I think one in every 20 streams or so, I just get a bunch of bots that come in and yell at me for whatever. And for me, it's as simple as /follower mode. And then the moderators go through and individually ban it. I don't make a big deal about it. I continue my show. I feel like there are some people on Twitter that are having like a mental breakdown. And they're 20 viewer streamers. They're like, oh my God, I got follow botted. My brand is ruined. Guy, if this is what's getting you, okay, you're not cut out for this job. Like the level of negativity and hate that you get as an online creator is going to be so much vastly worse than whatever you're being introduced to by robots, that to some extent this is a matter of creators just toughening up, because I don't think that this problem is solvable on a platform level. I just don't. I think it's an arms race for every single platform. Many more people like YouTube and Instagram and Twitter are putting in billions more dollars than Twitch will ever be willing to do. And they can't solve it. They can't solve the bot problem. It's just, it's enormously hard. It's very easy to make a robot look like a human and make it act that way. And there are intelligent view bots. I wish I could do an update to that view bot video we did. Is there are view bots that are amazing now. You would never even know. Like they just run through a dictionary of thousands of things they could possibly say that are totally reasonable. Like, hey, this is a cool game, to like whatever you could imagine somebody saying. And there's no way to detect that these people are bots effectively. And anybody could run a viewbot stream now. And Twitch is behind other platforms that are dealing with this problem. Like Instagram can't keep up with the bots. You think and that's one of the most sophisticated platforms in the world. Like you think that Twitch is like a niche website can. So creators have tools to deal with this. And by the way, I'm just going to give anyone still watching this a very quick actionable thing you can do. If you've been follow botted, number one, it's not the end of the world. Followers don't account for anything. The only reason you would look at follower count is over a 90 to 180 day period to get an idea of how your stream is growing. And for that reason, I usually remove them. So there's a tool here, which I'll link in the description. Twitch hashtag tools, Twitch-tools. If I say hashtag one more time, I'm going to unsubscribe myself from my YouTube channel. Okay. Twitch/tools.rootonline.de follower remover. This is a tool by Commander Root, which you just log in, you go to the date that you've been followed by. So I recommend you do this immediately afterwards, and you remove all the followers within that few second time period. So they always come in. And bam, you're back to whatever. I've done this probably 20 times, and my follower count, I'm pretty confident, doesn't have a lot of bots. Whereas someone that doesn't do this, like XQC, lost 2 million followers. So at his point, he doesn't really have to care about how many followers he has. But it's worth doing for smaller broadcast, even medium level content creators, because like if I go from 500,000 followers to 600,000 level. Like I don't know which one of those are legitimate. I can't make a good judgment call of like how my growth is doing. And it's also important over like a 180-day period. If you want to go to like something like Soy Gnome or Twitch Tracker and you look at your channel, you want to see your follower growth over that period represented as a correct percentage. So any kind of bots will just nuke that. So just remove them. And other than that, turn on follower mode, turn on sub mode, ban them. And then don't make your entire stream about that because you will get it again. Why are people creating bots? Because they want attention. And why do people troll your channel and give you negativity and give you trouble? Because they want attention. So if you nuke the reason why they're doing it, you'll find that you're inoculated from it for the most part, except for a couple of annoying times where people are just doing it for the sake of it. What I mean by that is that I think that a lot of people, and particularly smaller creators, have what I call small streamer syndrome, which is this idea that we need to make a very big deal out of everything. And something like a follower bot is just a huge blow to your channel that you'll never recover from. It is. Move on. It's fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. You mostly have the tools to solve these problems. Let's talk about a hashtag day off Twitch. A hashtag day off Twitch, as been noted by other creators that are not myself, surprised it's not going to do anything. That's because Twitch already understands this problem. And listen, if you hear me say this, you know, okay? Because I'm one of the biggest advocates of Twitch not doing anything. I think that they don't do anything for 99% of things. For this particular issue of rating, I don't think there is much they can do. They can improve their account verification system. They can improve some of the intelligence behind how they detect bots and how they deal with it. Beyond that, I think this is just a fact of life we're going to have to live with a live streaming medium. That sucks, but I think that's the case. I don't know what the people that are hashtag a day off Twitch are advocating for. They want Twitch to do more. Well, we've already kind of explained why that's difficult, right? And from that point on, Asmon, so my argument, like that Asmongold had, was like, well, you shouldn't protest because nobody cares. My argument is that you shouldn't protest because this is not an issue to protest about. Hashtag a day off Twitch. Yo, how about hashtag 3 months off Twitch, which is how long I've been off Twitch advocating against gambling and sexualized content on the platform, which is truly eliminating creators and driving down their CPMs and driving down their ad revenue. Like, you guys want to stick it to... Man, it pisses me off so much sometimes. Like, people want to stick it to Twitch because they're not doing enough about raids. This is a marginal issue. This doesn't matter, okay? Like, what matters is that we have top creators on the website bringing down the entire website as a result of running gambling streams that are driving down the CPMs for every single other creator on the platform by as much as 30%. So you want to talk about creators losing revenue? That is why I stopped streaming. I stopped streaming. That you can go back to my video why I lost faith in Twitch. I have stopped streaming indefinitely until I think these problems are addressed. So no one can accuse me of not. And by the way, I've left tens of thousands of dollars on the table for something that I could do 15 hours a week for doing that. That I had that's what that's doing, right? It's so I understand the impetus to want to boycott something because you don't think that they're doing enough. I'm doing that, but I don't think this is the hill that we should die on. I think we should attack any of the way more important and pertinent things that I've illustrated in my past 4 videos, you know? Because they just have such a wider reach than this. So overall, I don't think this is going to do anything. I think it's an interesting subject to talk about. Particularly, I like this topic because I think that there's a lot of nuance to the bot issue. And I've talked about the bot issue here and there over time. But this is kind of one of those examples of a movement that means well, that's probably overall the energy would be better dedicated to things that are really going on the platform that are limiting creators and damaging creators. And that's not to say that I don't support marginalized groups or support what they're going through, because I have been at the behest of many bot raids and things like that. Although I'm not a marginalized creator, I understand the mental difficulty that comes with that, believe me. And also just internet hate in general, which I did a lot of content about. But just at the end of the day, I think that we should be fighting on different hills. And I don't think that Twitch can be held as accountable for this as they could something like say, hey, just ban all luck-based gambling flat out. Just ban it. There's no benefit. There's nothing that is good for the website. It sucks. It's driving down CPMs. It's making people addicted to stuff that's objectively bad on all age groups. We have tons of evidence for this. Versus this is a very complex problem that Twitch can kind of support creators in, but creators also need to take an active stance on and try to stop themselves. Okay, so that's my take on the Twitch hate raid situation. Do you agree? Do you disagree? You can leave a comment below and let me know. This is like one of those more like kind of opinion pieces, I guess, than hard data, but we did go over some cool stuff there. So thank you very much for coming out for this. One more reminder to just subscribe if you think that this is a video that's worth your time. I really appreciate you guys. The community has been so enormously positive. I've actually started reading YouTube comments, which is like, I don't know, maybe that's not good, because maybe somebody hears this and they're like, oh, it's time, I'm gonna let them know. So I'm a little bit scared, but I have a lot of self-esteem issues, so reading a lot of YouTube comments that say, hey, this is like actually valuable stuff, keep doing it, has made me uptick in these videos, and I really appreciate you guys. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys again for the next interesting topic soon.